Synchronicity, by definition, is the coincidental occurrence of events, and especially psychic events, such as similar thoughts in widely separated persons or a mental image of an unexpected event before it happens. And it's these events that seem related, but that are not explained by conventional mechanisms of causality. So I think that definition is helpful. For me, synchronicity is this kind of magic weaving of the universe. And it's something that we have experienced here in this group many times, where there's just this similarity of shared experience that we're going through despite distance, despite most of us having never shared physical space. And it's this beauty of the unexplained that seems completely clear at the same time.
Synchronicity is one of my favorite feelings, I would say. It really makes me feel like there's something bigger that I'm a part of. And it is such a calming, cool, I get goosebumps sometimes, it's all through my body and through my mind. And when you asked me to share, I had a quite synchronous week last week. It was a lot. And the story that I'm going to choose today was last week, my band and I played our first show in about 6 months. It's been a while. And we were playing, and it was the 1-year anniversary of this specific event that we shared. And 1 year prior, day of, we were playing a song, and right in the middle of the song, someone in the crowd ran up on stage and tackled our drummer, Kyle. Bowled him over, the whole drum set, like a strike. He knocked over everything. It was quite a scene. It involved our drummer getting up and throwing him off the stage. We had to stop playing. He broke a few $1,000s worth of someone's lighting equipment. It was honestly one of the coolest things that ever happened to me playing music. It was cool. 10 minutes later, we set it up, everything back up. We continued the show. It was one of the coolest things that ever happens to this band currently. People still talk about it. So we were playing a show for the first time in 6 months, and it was the year anniversary of that event. And we were telling the crowd that story before we were playing the song. We said, a year ago, someone tackled our drummer, Kyle, during this song we're about to play right now. And he even kind of taunted, someone try to do that now. Someone try to do that now. So we had a laugh. We started playing the song. And then we're playing. And right when we were about to hit that part where he got tackled last year, all of a sudden, the drums stop again. It was deja vu. I turned around. I'm like, what happened? No way. And next thing you know, Kyle's just holding up his drum pedal like a caught fish, and his drum pedal that he's had for 13 years broke at that exact same moment where he got tackled 1 year ago during that same song. I'm getting goosebumps again, just thinking about it. It was unbelievable. I can't think of a more synchronistic time for a piece of equipment to break like that. It's never a fun thing when something breaks, but I think that was the best possible way that pedal could have broken. We all had a good laugh. We had to get another pedal. We had to stop. It was like deja vu. 1 year ago, we had to stop. We had to get it fixed, and we continued again. But right then and there, I felt like, man, like, what are the chances of that happening at that specific second? This cosmic, universal experience that we all are sharing together, not just me and my band, but all the audience there and anyone who was there last year. We all felt really together in that moment, and I think that was a very cool moment of synchronicity.
It was the morning, but it wasn't super early morning. And I was going to the Acropolis Museum. So it's where the Parthenon is, and there's a bunch of other old, beautiful, insane buildings. And I had a couple people discourage me from going. It costs like 20 euros to go. And I've had a couple people say, I'm not sure if it's worth it, maybe for you, but I don't think so. So I had thought about maybe I don't want to go. And I had planned on getting up very, very early to go before there was a ton of people, and I did not achieve that. But I had decided, you know what? I'm gonna go. Like, I'm in Greece. I'm gonna go see this Acropolis. Like, it seems crazy to me to not do it. Like, I've got to do it. So I went, and I'll say at this point in my trip, I have already been, when this story is occurring, I had already been away from home probably more than 3 months. And I had been feeling really homesick, honestly. I had been in France for a month, and the culture is very, very different. And also being immersed in a culture where you're trying to speak the language, it's constant challenges. And I had been really missing home. So I'm at the Acropolis, and there is this voice that I can hear, and it sounds very, very familiar. And I'm kind of listening. I'm very interested because it sounds American, but not just American. It sounds very, very familiar, like someone I've known before even. So I'm kind of maybe too much staring at this guy because I'm trying to kind of pin down the accent. And he just starts talking to me, like, completely randomly. Like, I mean, I guess I was kind of looking at him, but he just started a conversation about the art that we were looking at, and about that it was cool and that it was old. And as I'm looking at him, I noticed that he is wearing a Buffalo Bills hat. And for those of you who don't know, I am from Rochester, New York. And in Rochester, we love the Bills. The Bills, that is like our team, because Buffalo is only an hour away. And my brother, who in 1 week, it will be a year since my brother had died. And he was the biggest Bills fan, like, in the world. Loved the Bills, lived the Bills, breathed the Bills, just everything about the Bills. He just loved the Bills so much. It was something that really inspired him in his life. And so it was so crazy to me to be in Greece at the Acropolis, where there's thousands and thousands of tourists every day, and this guy's wearing a Bills hat. And so I asked him, "Are you from upstate?" Which is what us local people call the area of New York that I am from. And he said, "No, I'm not from upstate, but I'm from Pennsylvania, so not far away, and I love the Bills." And we chatted for a minute, and he was with a group, and he left with his group, and I stayed there looking at the art. So they continued, and I continued doing my own thing, but it was like our timing was somewhat connected, correlated. So I ended up running into him again, and it was kind of this funny feeling because our paths had crossed once already. And he ended up saying, like, "If you're alone and you want to join our group, you're welcome to do that." So I said, okay, like I said, I had been feeling kind of homesick, lonely, and like being with this other American who's even from Pennsylvania. And he told me he lives in New York City. So he sounded very familiar because I know plenty of people who are New Yorkers. So I continued with them, and we continued to discuss. And he is talking about, well, my parents have a business in upstate. And of course, I was curious to know what this business is that his parents have. And he said it's a rafting business. So I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with the concept, but basically it's like there's a river with rapids and stuff, and you take a big blow up raft and you go with a guide and go down the river. And immediately it was like a flag went up in my mind, because there is a rafting business that is very significant in my family. And we grew up spending our summers in an area called the Adirondacks. And it's this beautiful mountainous region not too far away. And there was a rafting business that we would frequent. And I have like amazing photos of my whole family doing this rafting together. And so I asked him, of course, what is the name of the business? And he said, Whitewater Challengers. And of course, it was the same business that we had grown up visiting. And I just felt at that moment like I had had this visit with the Oreos from my mom, right? And then the Bills hat was my brother Travis. And then the rafting, I have another brother that I lost 2 years ago now. And he was super outdoorsman. He loved doing the rafting. I think he even worked at Whitewater Challengers at one point. So for me, this was like so clearly significant that like my whole family is here with me. I felt like it was just this huge reassurance that like home is everywhere. Everyone you've lost is still with you, and you're exactly where you need to be.
Just get comfortable and just soften your gaze or close your eyes. Maybe just release your breath. Just breathe naturally. You can imagine consciousness being like the ocean. Up at the surface, there's the most activity, and the waves are similar to thoughts. And you go a little deeper, and the currents are more like feelings. Down deeper, is total stillness. Stillness has no beginning or end. And though the waves of thought may appear on the surface, as Rumi said, flow down, down, down into ever widening circles. Notice that every thought appears and loses its energy as it fans out. And then another one appears. This is just all on the surface. You go a little deeper and into your feelings. Notice those. They sometimes feel so important, so overwhelming, and yet they are composed of the ocean itself. Sinking deeper into the source of thought and feeling, and back to the stillness. And slowly returning back to this present moment, knowing that there's always access to the depth of your true being. And I do hope that you access it as needed, and that synchronicity continues to flow for each and every one of you. Thank you so much.